Hello, hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Tracy Cromwell here, your certified integrative nutrition health coach and personal trainer. So, what is a certified integrative nutrition health coach? What it means is that your life is more than the food that you eat, but your life is inclusive of so many aspects. That is your food, that is your fitness, that's your career, that's your community, your finances, education, spirituality, joy, creativity, all of those things create your life. And so I'm bringing you guests. My goal is to bring you incredible guests like the one I have today that will help enhance that aspect of your life. These are recorded live. So for those that are listening on the podcast, it is recorded live on Facebook. So lots of things can happen when we go live. So as you're listening, just know that this is a raw, wonderful interview. And today I'm bringing you my guest, Nadia Headley. Hi, Nadia.
Hello, Tracy. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So I do want to read your bio to everybody so they really understand a bit more about you and why I asked you to be on. Number one, we met through a business group. And then also you were one of my advanced readers for my book, Your Personal Journey with Food, which I'm so grateful for you to do that. And to everybody, Nadia is a leader in entrepreneurship and in nonprofits. And she helps entrepreneurs and leaders maximize a win-win-win situation, to build relationships in those areas. So Nadia is deeply empathetic, kind to a fault, highly energetic, and hopelessly optimistic. I don't know, can we ever be hopelessly optimistic? Right? She has been through so many phases of life. There have been exhilarating highs and unimaginable lows. Somehow she always manages to see the good in moments when the bad is overwhelming. Those small glimpses of hope empower her to withstand and fuel her to continue. It all boils down to the immense support that she has been fortunate enough to receive from so many people. At the end of the day, it's about people. When she was graduating as a member of the President's Society, the highest honor society at St. John's University, and when she was battling breast cancer, when she was traveling the world, and when she lived in fear of a psychologically abusive ex, when she was enjoying the beauty of her family, and when her family was at the food bank, when life was high or when life was low, the right people were always in place to help her enjoy the feast and endure the famine. I would love to come back and talk about that. This is the other part I love about what you bring is, you're from the Caribbean islands, Barbados. Yes. And the name of your business is called 2114 Consultancy. And that is the dimension of the island, 21 miles long by 14 miles wide. Yeah. So you're a proud Caribbean woman of African descent. She has also lived in St. Vincent, the USA, and now you're in Canada.
Yes.
And you love sharing your light and bubbly spirit everywhere you go. So there's so much more, but I just want to get into talking with you right now. So welcome. Welcome to Your Personal Journey with Food live broadcast.
Thank you. And such a beautiful welcome. I appreciate it so much.
Yes. So we wanted to talk today about, our food journey and how that relates to us as human beings, and also our careers and, our ability to be visionary in our businesses and our everyday life. So What are your thoughts there?
Well, I am a foodie. I love food. And I am not shy about eating. I was the child who loved vegetables when other kids didn't, because I just loved everything about food, the colors, the textures, the smells, everything. It's a big part of my traveling experience. I have to eat the stuff that the people who live there eat all the time. I don't want the stuff that's manicured for the tourist, I want it to look as real, feel as authentic. I want it to be saucy, whatever whatever is your favorite breakfast in that country, that's what I want. And I love the experience of food. And so when it came to me recognizing whether or not my own food patterns were healthy, it was just like, well, do I really have to give that up?
Oh, uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
I remember when I was young and had my first job, I got hired straight out of university to work at the United Nations. I hadn't even received my degree in the mail yet when I started my job there, and I would spend so much money on cheese, just cheese.
Oh, the wonders of
All different
cheese.
kinds of fancy cheese,
Yeah.
because I mean, in Barbados, it's not like we had tons of local options. So everything was imported,
Mhm,
and
mhm,
so cheese was super expensive, but hey,
mhm,
I was young, I had a great job, I had my own place, my own car, everything. Why can't I just splurge on some cheese? Uh,
mhm,
and I really had to start changing my relationship with food.
mhm,
Start really asking myself lots of questions about the way how I chose what I ate, when I
mhm,
ate, things like that. So
mhm.
yeah.
Why did those questions come up? Like, what was it that told you needed to start looking at your relationship with food?
hmm So the first thing was I became a varsity athlete, which was
Mm.
really awesome because I didn't think I was athletic at all. But I was chosen for the fencing team at St.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
pretty awesome. Wow.
And it was really cool to be able to say, oh, I fence and whatnot. I remember the first time we had to run the stairs of the stadium.
Mhm,
And I mean, I was panting. I was barely making it. I was like, oh my God. And I wasn't, I mean, I was, in terms of like BMI, I was pretty fit looking, but I really
mhm,
wasn't actually healthy. And so when you have a cafeteria where everything is served, you
mhm,
can get every type of cereal and all the pancake syrup that you want, suddenly that
mhm,
was the first time that I really had to be intentional about what I was putting into the machine, because
mhm,
now the machine meant something different. The machine has to perform. The machine
mhm,
has, 2 days of 2.5 hour training and conditioning, and then the
mhm,
machine has to go to the clubs. The machine has to work right. Um,
mhm,
and
mhm,
so it was a matter of function at that point.
mhm,
What were the things that made me feel sluggish? What were the things that made me feel more energized?
mhm,
I did the grazing, so smaller meals more frequently, which was our athletics diet at that point. So that
mhm,
was the
mhm,
first time that I had conversations with myself about what was going in there.
mhm,
Um, the second time was when I was pregnant.
mhm.
My husband actually, my husband took me off of sugar and salt. I mean, like banned me.
You're like, wait a second.
Right.
What?
Because at that point, as far as he was concerned, it wasn't about me. It was about the little person growing inside
Yeah.
there. Um,
Yeah.
and then I lost my taste for sugar and salt,
Mm.
during
Mhm.
that time. So that wasn't really me having the conversation as much as him having the conversation with my body about what my body may have needed. Um,
Mhm.
and I did a lot of, that's the first, I went and bought my magic bullet when I was pregnant. That's when I did all the shakes and all the raw
Mhm.
vegetables and, you
Mhm.
know, uh, the almond milk. That was probably like the first time I used so much of that stuff. Um,
Mhm.
and I had someone comment, "Oh, I think this baby is going to be born with abs." And the truth is, she was born remarkably strong. Like the doctors were really astonished, like how she
Mhm.
within the first week she was lifting her head and turning her head from side to side, like doing like the
Mhm.
little Superman on her stomach. And they
Mhm.
were really surprised by that. And then
Mhm.
finally, when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, um,
Mhm.
and now there's always that question of, well, how did this happen? And
Mhm.
doctors will tell you straight up, we don't know. We don't know when it started.
Mhm.
We don't know how it started. Because of
Mhm.
how young I was, I know family history. I got the gene test for the
Mhm.
BRCA1 and BRCA2 genetic deficiencies. They were not deficient, they were working, so it wasn't genetic. They tested 17 other genes, everything came back not remarkable. And so there's this question, well, where did this come from? We don't know. We just know what to do from here
Yeah.
next.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, I don't know if eating this or eating that or eating that is a cause, but no one has disagreed that you should eat more vegetables. It's
Mhm.
like people
Mhm.
say eat more carbs, people say eat less carbs, people say eat more protein, eat less protein. Nobody disagrees on eating more vegetables. So I just did that.
Right. Right. Yep. It is, and it's so confusing out there, and what
Mhm.
to do, and other people's opinions of what you should be doing. So it's really, when I was writing down what you were saying, and so, again, everybody's journey with food and their relationship with food is their own,
Mhm.
and then there's all the opinions around it. And
Yeah.
what's interesting when I look at what you said, one was because you were an athlete and
Mhm.
you needed your body to perform.
Mhm.
The other one was, you had to think about your baby, and what you ate would be important, to your child's success and health. And then the other one was healing from a traumatic, health crisis. Um, and so what is so, eye-opening in your story is that, it tells me we need to fuel our bodies as best possible so that it can function at its best under all the things it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
That is move, that's for women having a child, and even for men, listen, the what you eat affects the way, you will, sperm will fertilize,
Yes.
an egg, and how strong it's going to be.
Mhm.
So it's both men and women. And then the aspect that even if we're eating as healthy as possible, sometimes our body will produce a cancerous cell that the body doesn't see, the immune system doesn't see soon enough, but with that healing, no one ever says don't eat vegetables. So, so it's a very interesting journey. One thing that you also brought up that sparked something in me as well was, you said, when you were young and you were an athlete, you looked healthy on the outside.
Mhm. Yes.
So, but on the inside, you knew
Yeah.
and you didn't feel.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't run 5 minutes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if I can drive something home to anybody watching or listening, what we look like on the outside
Mhm.
can express how we are on the inside, but it doesn't always do
Always. Exactly.
that.
Exactly.
Yeah. I had to, I look back on some, my experience of when I was doing step aerobics every single day. I was having a good time, and I was adding weights and,
Mhm.
and height to the step. And this one thing my kids remember, and they actually each wanted to try and do it with me. But
Oh,
there was also a part of me though that was pounding me because I
right.
didn't like, who I was, or I didn't
Yeah.
like, I came from it from a different angle. And so
Mhm.
although I looked fit and my muscles looked great,
Mhm.
I wasn't eating to my best. And,
Right.
and so if as for you and your goals as a businesswoman and an entrepreneur,
Mm-hmm.
there's also the concept of how food affects not only our physical appearance, how we function inside,
Mm-hmm.
but our take it to mindsets.
Yeah.
Did you feel, as you went through your journey with food, what are some of the maybe emotional aspects? Did you
Mm-hmm.
notice differences in the way your mindset would be when you'd eat different foods? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. What's really interesting about that particular piece, so during chemotherapy, there's chemo and then there's a steroid course that they put you on to
Mhm.
counteract the effects of chemo, right? So
Mhm.
there's two main sets of medication that you're on, and the steroids make you gain tremendous amounts of weight.
Mhm.
So back in the early days, chemo, people on chemo get really, really thin because, you're throwing up your guts, but then they've counteracted that. And so now you're looking at like a chemo 10. In my case, it was like 20 pounds over the space of a few months.
Wow.
Um,
Mhm.
and then because of the multiple surgeries and whatnot, then you're not able to actually get up and move around and whatnot. So that for me brought out a lot in terms of what I wanted to eat, when I wanted to eat, to comfort myself.
Oh. Mhm.
Right? That was a big thing. And so one of the things, if guys, if you know anyone who's been diagnosed with any type of cancer, one of the things that a lot of people like to do to be helpful is send you lots of videos about what you should and shouldn't eat. And if you just drink warm lemon water in the morning, and if you just ate 4 cloves of garlic, you'd never have cancer. And we understand that you're trying to be helpful, but everybody can't suddenly become a pharmacist, right? Everybody's not
Right.
suddenly an apothecary. And so it kind of creates this guilt of, oh, you got cancer because you didn't drink enough lemon water in the morning. you know? Right. So now
Interesting.
it's your fault because
Yeah.
all you had to do was drink ginger tea. You know what I mean? Like, and
Mhm.
so that was, I actually had a moment of rebellion where like my
Mhm.
mom would message me every morning. She's like, "Did you have a shake this morning?" I'm like, "No, I didn't."
And I'm not going to do it.
Don't want one. I want
Yeah.
waffles. You know? So that was definitely
Hmm.
a period there for me, and it then just became about, okay, you know what? I want to feel good. I do like lemon water. I'm gonna drink it because I
Mhm.
like it.
Yeah.
And I like shakes, but I like to put certain things together, and my shakes have to be super smooth. So I don't want grapes in it because I don't want the grape skin. Like I got a lot of rules around what goes into my shakes. Um, and so then that became about, okay, well, I like this, and changing my mind around what I like. I enjoy this. I'm gonna have this because I enjoy it. It's healthy.
Mhm.
That's great, but I'm going to focus on I enjoy this, right?
Mhm.
Um, to help with the weight loss, because first there's the quick weight that you gain. There is your body doesn't function the way how it used to.
Mhm.
So, again, in my athletic days, I could get up, go run a couple times a week, lift some weights. In 2 weeks, I'll be fit as a fiddle. That's not
Mhm.
what's happening now. So I had to try something new. And I tried intermittent fasting, which I'm doing now. And so, cutting my meals at night and eating, I shoot for around 11:30 a.m. noon the next day for my first meal.
Mhm.
And that also brings up a lot. So it's the converse. It's eating a lot brings up a lot of thoughts, and not eating as much brings up a lot. Um,
Mhm.
there is this scarcity,
Mhm.
oh, if I don't eat in the morning, then I'll never have a meal.
It's interesting how the mind will panic.
Yes, exactly. And
Mhm.
then there are the emotions that I realized I was dealing with is whenever I felt sad or upset, I want to eat. I didn't care what it was. I just wanted to just shove something in my mouth, you know? And so, and then what do you look for? Whatever is fast. And very frequently, fast isn't necessarily good. You know? And so those two times, you know, brought up a lot of those emotional questions for me, you know, where am I going with this? Why this particular piece of food at this particular time? You know, is this actually healthy or helpful? Or are you going to feel good after you eat it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's got to be so much involved with, you know, coming through cancer. You know, my co-author actually, you know, she had breast cancer, and we found out, gosh, you know, just a little, you know, in April last year. It's been a year. And, you know, it's changed her whole life and her outlook too, because she was eating really healthy. She had a very healthy lifestyle. So again, I want to come back to the thought of where we can all make judgment on someone as to why something may happen to them. It's just something in the body sometimes just happens.
Yeah.
You know, and what we can do, you know, is best to, you know, help our mindset with that. Learn. I'm putting words in your mouth. I've not gone through cancer, so I do not know what that feels like. I've had limb injuries, and I've had other things to come through, but the concept where you changed your mindset to I'm gonna go ahead. I like lemon water, but I'm gonna drink it on my terms. You know, I think that's what's so important. You know, we all have our journeys. We all have input that's coming at us as to why we should do something, but maybe it's a thought process change as to how can I best support myself and give myself nourishment, give my body opportunity to be its best in a compassionate way.
Yes.
You know? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What did you notice again? You know, I watch your videos, and I just love what you bring to the world, and what you're wanting to bring to the world, which I did not finish reading your bio, but I want to say this, you know, you want to help bring an environmentally and economically self-sustained parallel school system to the Caribbean. To do that, you need to be firing on all cylinders.
I'm glad you got it, girl.
Yeah. So again, what have you noticed when in your relationship with food, and what things make you feel like your brain can function and it can think well? And then when you eat something different, what are those items that you've noticed, you know, oh, it doesn't function so well when I eat this, you know? Tell us a little bit about that.
Sugar. Sugar is not my best friend.
Okay.
I'm fortunate in one thing. As a child, and from then on, I don't actually enjoy a lot of sweets. I'm not big on cakes and ice creams, and I've been to the Cheesecake Factory, and I've never ordered cheesecake. I don't need that as much. And so I guess I never really grew in love with these things. I don't need dessert. And so when I do have sugar, especially then when it came to the point where I was only putting sugar in my tea, and then that's what my husband cut out when when I was pregnant. He's like, "You don't need sugar in your tea." Like,
that was so little, and he took it. No, I was kidding.
Right? I was like, "What are you talking about? This is the only place I have sugar." Right? And then now when I do, indulge a little bit, that's it. I know that's my day gone. Right? So if I make crepes and there's Nutella on my crepes, I know I'm making that on a day that I don't have much else to do that day, because nothing else is going on that day. I'm not going to have that first thing in the morning, because that does not help me get through the rest of my day.
Right.
Things that really make me feel energetic, actually water, quite honestly. And I'm sure that my personal trainer, Trish Curling from Ani-O Yoga, I'm sure she would be happy to hear this, because she got me intermittent fasting, kicking and screaming, and drinking more water throughout my day was like, really, I drink a lot already. But once she told me that my herbal tea, my non-caffeinated herbal teas without sugar counts as water, I was good. Because coming from that Caribbean background, we drink tea all day, so I was all about, making my own teas. I don't do very much black tea. So again, hot lemon water, ginger tea. I make a pot that my daughter calls a witch's stew, because there's so much that goes into this pot, right? So I have dried Ganoderma mushroom, dried turkey tail mushrooms, elderberry. I put ginger in there, bay leaves, soursop leaves, cinnamon. Sometimes I'll put in like a whole apple, depending. What else goes in there? Just a lot of, and I'll
Sounds
pour that
incredible.
parsley. Yeah, it's good. She's always like, "What are you making, mommy?"
I love it.
It's actually quite tasty, and it's very dense in nutrition. So when I have that, I'll drink that pot over maybe 2 days, and I can do so much throughout my day with that, and the fasting doesn't feel like fasting.
Yeah.
Like I said, because it's so nutritionally dense. Yeah.
Well, and you're doing the bulk of your fasting while you're sleeping, which is the ideal scenario. So I like what you said, that your trainer dragged you kicking and screaming. And my journey was the same. There's no way in the world. No.
Right.
No, I don't. I'm not doing it. And don't take stuff from me,
Right.
And it's really fun. I look back on my mindset and my fear of loss, my fear that I was going to be deprived, that my brain really thought I was going to die. Literally, I was going to starve to death. And I have so much compassion for myself from where I was now, and just these fears that I had. And I'm similar. I do my best not to eat for a couple hours before bed. And sometimes I'm good at that and sometimes not so much, but I find that I function really well if my first meal is at around 10 in the morning, and it's just the way it sort of started happening all by itself. It did. And so now I enjoy that. People should try it. Try having an empty, there's something really great about being empty in your digestive tract and having that light feeling. And, I grew up not ever feeling like that because I always was always eating.
Right.
And, we talked about it, Ingrid and I talked about it in the book, which I'm so thankful that you read and you were an advanced reader. But, if we don't give our digestion time to rest, our body can't do its, cleanup.
Exactly. Exactly.
It doesn't have time to go through and scavenge and get rid of dead cells or things that are going on, because there's so much energy used for digesting.
Exactly.
Getting to that intermittent fasting. And you kind of can figure out your own, what your body likes best. So we haven't yet. I can't believe we're already hitting 30 minutes. It's gone so fast. I would love to talk about what you do, why you're doing it. I have, I spent time working in a nonprofit that years ago when I was in the housing industry, where we joined care providers with construction companies to create amazing transitional housing apartment complexes. And I had, my own reasons for wanting to do that. But, you work with elevating women, to be visionaries and you want to help entrepreneurs and nonprofits. So please speak to, I want to take a little extra time today. I know we'll go over, but I want to really talk about that because community is part of our lives. And
Yes.
yeah, so
Yes. Thank you.
yeah.
So 2114, we promote social entrepreneurship. We believe that social entrepreneurship has been the missing key in the discourse on development for the past few decades. The way how we see it is if you could imagine a line, and on one side you have the nonprofit mentality, which is Mother Teresa. You take a vow of poverty and a vow of chastity, and you drop everything and you go and run and serve the people that you're passionate about. And then on the other side, you have like Wolf of Wall Street, downtown Manhattan, downtown Bay Street, greed is good, money at all costs. These are two opposing mentalities. In the middle, there is so much space. And there are more of us in the middle than on the extremes. There are many of us who understand the value of money and the importance of money, and many of us who understand the value of community and doing good for others. And we don't see these two ends as enemies. And so we live in that middle space. And so we encourage more and more of our nonprofits on one side and our businesses on the other side to come towards the middle. How we do that? Very simply, we help nonprofits to strategically implement business practices into their operations. That way they are better led, they're better able to communicate, they're better able to attract to themselves private sector partners. We help our passionate entrepreneurs. Now, these are people who are good at what they do, but their real passion isn't in their business. So we help them to set their business on autopilot so that they free up time for the area of their passion. And those are the two main ways we do that. And we've found as we serve nonprofits and as we serve businesses, there's this category of the visionary woman who keeps rising to the top. We keep attracting her. And so we wanted to create a special space for her because she is out there delivering, over delivering. She's out there saving the world with the S on her chest, and she needs a space where she can just be. She needs a space where other people understand what it means to carry a big, ridiculous, obnoxious vision, like creating a self-sustaining parallel school system in the Caribbean. Like, she understands that that's massive and it makes no sense, but she has to do it.
Yes.
So that's what we do.
It's incredible. I loved it. I know when you and I met, and you were, you have an incredible Facebook group, which I put in the comments, where people can go ahead and, number one, they can follow your page. Go look in the comments. There's a link to follow your business page as well as to join the Facebook group. And the dynamics of, the women in there are incredible. And the vision, and then just, the way you're able to bring forth in what the videos that you post, all of that it is, you had a wonderful one on there the other day again, where and as we progress in our businesses and in our purpose on this planet, who else can we remember that's wanting to do the same, that we can reach a hand out to help do the same, and if we think about our lives again as a whole, and again, I want to bring it back to what you said with carrying a big weight of a bold, audacious, crazy goal, Yeah. And I'm going to bring it back as a health coach. You want to be healthy to see that through. You want your body on fire, your mind on fire, just like, yeah, we can do this, and thinking clear and strong. And I know you're up early, you exercise, you're doing everything to make sure this vision, you're as healthy as you can be and as strong as you can be, with the mindset and everything. So I just love what you do, what you're putting into the world. It's so supportive. And much needed. you know. So yes, very much appreciate what you're doing. So
Oh, thank you.
if you had one or two closing comments that you would want to leave with us today, on any platform you would like to speak from, what do you want to leave us with today?
I'll say this. And first of all, Tracy, thank you again for inviting and welcoming me here, to bring, all of my Caribbeana light and laughter. I'll say this one important thing. The things that we need most are the things that we take most easily for granted. We forget to breathe. We forget to eat. We forget to sleep. We forget that these most basic things are necessary for life, and they're the easiest things to take for granted. And so if we could distill everything and express this gratitude for life and living by taking those things into account, that they are ours, we're entitled to them. We're entitled to drinking water. We're entitled to breathing good air. We're entitled to getting healthy food. We're entitled to getting rest. And we don't have to apologize for having those things. So I just want to leave you with that.
I love that. We are worthy right now.
Yes.
And to take care of ourselves and to have gratitude for the things we forget to look at. I love that. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Nadia, I appreciate you being here. And so don't go anywhere. Let's say goodbye to everybody else and we'll close down the broadcast. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. And do go check out her pages, her Facebook pages in the comments. Okay. See you later, everybody.